Cool. My name is JP Dinnell. Grew up in Sacramento, California. Had a really good uprising. Good parents, good brothers and sisters that I had a relationship with. Went to the same high school, elementary school that my dad went to, which was cool and unique at times when I had the same teachers. But I grew up wanting to be a Navy SEAL. That's all I ever wanted to do. I lost sight of that when I was in high school. And then as I was getting ready to graduate from high school, my dad reminded me of that. So I went and talked to the Navy recruiters, started the process, spent that summer working construction with my dad to kind of prepare me physically and mentally for the military, and went into boot camp September 5th, 2001. 6 days later, 9/11 happened when I was in boot camp. I had a contract that I could go to BUD/S to try to become a Navy SEAL. So I did my boot camp, regular schooling in the Navy, checked into BUD/S in April of 2002. I was in class 242, graduated class 242, went through our advanced training, went to SEAL Team 3, did a couple deployments there, went to training when I was working for Jocko again, and then I got out right around the 12-year mark, did sales at a financial company, and left to start my own consulting company, and I've been working for Jocko and Leif at Echelon Front for the last 4.5 years. We're up in Maine at Origin Immersion Camp 2021, which is the 10-year anniversary, which is super special for a couple different reasons. One, 10 years for a business is a huge milestone, and if you know anything about Origin and Jocko Fuel, their progression and growth has been absolutely insane recently. The momentum is phenomenal. But also last year, because of COVID, we weren't able to have camp, and this camp is a staple for everybody within the jiu-jitsu community that's tight and tied into Origin. It's something that we all look forward to every single year. I have a crazy busy schedule with travel, and my wife knows that one of the best things that I can do for my personal health and wellness and just my family as well is for me to come here for a week to be around like-minded people, train jiu-jitsu where there's no politics, there's no bullshit. It's people from all different walks of life getting along and getting together and enjoying life together, rooted around jiu-jitsu. So it's a pretty special week up here. Well, I've known Jocko since 2005. So Jocko was my task unit commander when I was in the SEAL teams. Task unit bruiser, we deployed to Ramadi together. Then I worked for Jocko at Trade It. And then I got out, I was doing my own thing. And then I started working for Jocko at Echelon Front. And then Jocko was introduced to Peter Roberts through a common, through an individual that followed kind of both businesses and was like, hey, these guys up in Maine are doing some crazy stuff. They're all American made. They knew that would kind of be something that Jocko would believe in, that could get behind, and so they just introduced them. And so they had I believe a 4-hour phone conversation. They linked up, then their partnership became. Well, because I work for Jocko as an instructor, there's this natural kind of connection between Echelon Front and Origin. Origin came out to one of the musters, which is a 2-day leadership event that we do. And that's when I first met Peter Roberts, Amanda, Brian was there, and I believe Joe was there as well. And they brought a bunch of products out, with, they set up a table, and it was just cool for me to be able to, that's when I first got to know them and we started talking. And then as that relationship between Jocko and Origin started to develop and grow, then Jocko Fuel kind of came in there. I absolutely love what Origin stands for and what they do. And so since day one, I was always, telling Peter and Brian and Amanda Roberts, hey, if there's anything I can do to help you guys, let me know. So I was really promoting the products, and then just naturally grew into where I now have my own signature energy drink with them, and I helped kind of create the ambassador program, and so it's just kind of a natural over time relationship that was built up. Honestly, I had no really preconceived ideas. I just knew that they wanted everything to be based here in America, which I think is awesome. My grandfather was always very adamant about us buying American made. He goes, even if it costs a little bit more, you should support American made companies. So he always tried to do that with his tools and just everything. And so my dad did the same thing, and I just know it's a good thing to support American made products when you live in America. you should support, your own country at all costs, at all times. So just knowing that that's what they wanted to do, I thought it was awesome. I didn't really know much about what they were doing or what they were going to do. I didn't really care. And also, I am extremely loyal to Jocko, and I'm always going to support whatever he's doing. And I knew that if Jocko had partnered and put his name to be associated with Origin, that's kind of all I needed to know. And that I would learn as I needed to learn more. Well, I tell Origin they're an American-based company. And people are like, well, what does that mean? And I tell them that they're trying to bring manufacturing to all products back here to America. And then I tell them, hey, they started off with gis. And because I saw Pete was a real big jiu-jitsu guy, still is a jiu-jitsu guy. And that was his thing, is he wanted to create quality gis here in America. And it had never been done before. And he did what nobody had done before. And then from there, it naturally progressed. Like once he realized, oh, I could do gis, I can do rash guards. And then from there, there's t-shirts and hoodies and jeans and boots. And I just tell them that, everyone at Origin and Jocko feel is bringing manufacturing back to America and giving Americans control over their destiny once again. The very first time I was in Guam in 2004, my first deployment, and it was from one of my buddies, Cowie Merrill. He was another new guy on the SEAL team with me. Right before we deployed, he took leave, went to Hawaii, won the whole Naga competition that was over there at the time. Came back, we deployed to Guam. We were at a bar, a bunch of Chamorans circled us around, and I was like, okay. I grabbed the silver off the bar because I thought we were about to get into a fight and I was going to start stabbing dudes because there was a lot more of them than us, and a SEAL on a previous deployment had gotten shot from the locals, and so the locals didn't like a lot of the military guys, and so I thought we were getting ready to be jumped, and they're like, are you Cowie? And he was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden they all started smiling, and they're like, hey bro, we saw you in Hawaii last month and you won. And I'm like, why didn't we lead with that? Like they had literally a half circle around us looking like they wanted to fight. And so then they invited us to their gym to train, which was their backyard. And that was the first time I actually did jiu-jitsu. It was Cowie in Guam. And then when we came back from our deployment, that's when I met Jocko. Jocko had guys training, and that's probably one of the biggest regrets for jiu-jitsu, is that I could have been training for the last 16 years. And I didn't take it serious as an opportunity to train with Jocko. And then Jocko and Dean, when they opened the gym, I was just here and there with training. So, the lessons I've learned in jiu-jitsu are the same lessons that we teach at Echelon front. And I would say that the biggest thing is humility. Humility is the number one characteristic of a good leader. And humility is the number one characteristic of those that practice jiu-jitsu that will help you progress along. If you lack humility, your game's never going to progress at the level that it should. And if you lack humility, people don't like being around you. So you're not going to have good training partners. You're not going to have a good environment. And so humility it ties everything in life together. Well, one, we work for Jocko. So kind of hard to work for Jocko and not do jiu-jitsu. But I think it's just one of those things where if you truly try jiu-jitsu and you give it an opportunity and you go into it with humility, it's going to suck you in because it shows you how much you don't know. And what I've learned in life, especially in the SEAL teams and especially working for Jocko and Leif, is really humble individuals better themselves because they're able to do constant self-assessments and understand that they're not as good as they could be. So that draws them for the pursuit of more knowledge, more training, and more discipline. And if you take that same approach to jiu-jitsu, you're going to be sucked into more knowledge, more training, and be disciplined with all that, which is going to make you better at jiu-jitsu. And the more jiu-jitsu you do, the more you realize, oh, I don't know as much as I could or should. And I think that's what keeps kind of sucking more people back into it that are a little more mature in life. Favorite flavor to go would have to be sour apple sniper. But that afterburner orange is so good. So I grew up loving the green apple Jolly Ranchers. I just have always loved sour apple flavor. And so when I was talking with Brian about, hey, if you want to do other signature flavors, I actually have a bunch of names written down that I think would be good for you guys. Even if they didn't even if it wasn't mine, honestly, I didn't think I should have one. It was just one of those things like, hey, if you guys are going to do different flavors, I have names for you. And then we talked about how, it could be my flavor. And to be honest, that was kind of like humbling and kind of unique, because you and I have talked, that stuff's awkward to me. Like, nobody knows who I am. I guess I kind of do now, but before, like, no one did, and it wasn't special. I'm not Jocko, I'm not Dakota Meyer, And so we just started talking, and I said, hey, one of the flavors I think would be cool is like sour apple sniper. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know how that flavor would do. I'm like, I don't know, just ask. And Brian was like, well, just because I don't think it would be good or I don't like it, let me ask more people. And when he asked other people, people were like, dude, that would be legit. And it was funny, I had a name for orange as well. And when I tasted Dave's Afterburner orange, I'm like, damn it. I should have said this name for the orange flavor, so it's all good. All right, so the purpose of the Jocko Fuel products to me is to provide people better opportunities to consume good products that are actually healthy for you. There's a lot of products out there that aren't healthy. And to be honest, it's sad how companies can be super misleading and make things seem healthy when they're really not. The Jocko Fuel products are healthy. They're good for you. And again, Jocko's not going to put his name on something that isn't going to do what it's supposed to do. And I'm at that point where I won't either. I mean, one thing we both knew from the SEAL teams is your reputation is everything. And I know the products that Jocko Fuel is delivering are going to be world class. Well, the first thing is good leadership. And leadership makes a difference in every organization. Now, when I say that, most people think like upper echelon leadership. Leadership isn't your title. Leadership is your ability as an individual to influence those around you, to do the right thing, to accomplish the mission, to believe in the mission, and to believe in yourself. And at Origin and Jocko Fuel, the company is full of leaders that believe in the mission. And when you have a team that believes in the mission, nothing's going to stop you. And so it doesn't surprise me that you guys have hit those numbers so fast, and it's only the beginning. That's a really good question. Why should we buy American made? Why do we care about American manufacturing? Well, it gives us more control. And a lot of people thank me for my service and for everything that we did in the military. It's always awkward because I really enjoyed my job and I loved what I did in the military. I had a lot of fun, but I would not have been able to do what I did in the military if it wasn't for our economy. And the stronger our economy is, the stronger our military is. The stronger our military is, the more freedoms that we have. So the more American-made products that we buy, the more we help bring manufacturing back to the United States, the stronger our economy will be, therefore the stronger our military will be, and the more freedoms that we'll ultimately have. I don't think anybody knows because there's no limitations. I truly believe that there's no limitations to what Origin and Jocko Fuel are going to do. It's going to be a household name, and it'll be all across the United States. And then once we've completely dominated the marketplace in the United States, then we'll start our global domination.